think it's called A minor or whatever.
Yeah, A minor film.
And I noticed that you have like, I don't know if it's like your direct team or if it's just like something you built organically or if you were like real aggressive in trying to build a network of people that you really create with on a regular. I just wanted to ask, how did you go? How did that process work for you?
So like Black Window Cream is its own thing, and then I've built like a army of creators, obviously, like that I've worked with over the years, just being here. For JR, what he's talking about is this dude that directed his first short film, and he killed this shit. It's fucking amazing, but he had a cool premiere in LA. And he's a beast VFX artist. Me and him both made no money working for a company when we first moved out here. This guy was doing the illest VFX that I've ever seen in my life for like all the Chris Brown videos that we were doing. Lady Gaga, he did everybody's shit, and then would go home and sleep in his fucking studio spot, whatever it was, over in North Hollywood that barely had a kitchen inside. His bed got infested by bugs. He had to sleep in his car for like when I moved out here and I was looking at him like, man, I'm out in LA and like you see, I remember watching Eminem's, what fucking video was it where he's like falling out of the building? Anybody? No one? He's falling out of this building. Is it? Yeah. If I wasn't, then why would I say I am? That video, I remember watching that and be like, obviously that's not real. He's not falling and dying. This is incredible. Like, who makes this shit? They're probably living the life. Like, these are the video guys, like the guys in Hollywood, and they fucking have the house in the hills. But then you find out, psych, like he's just fucking trying to figure it out. You know what I mean? And that shit was crazy. But through the times, like that was me meeting JR, and we've been friends since day one. And then now he has his own VFX company, and he's a brilliant creator. And so whenever I have a job, it's between him and his company. Like I work with them all the time. Like we just kept a circle that was really tight. Just throughout the years, you just meet people along the way, you know? And so people like that really affect you and like make you want to work harder, and we all push each other, and that's like, you know, that's the goal. You want to surround yourself with people that push you. What's up? Yeah. Tight. Yeah, he killed that shit. JR's a beast. You guys gotta look it up. I don't think it's online yet. A Minor Films, I think is the website or something. You can Google it. But he killed it. But so can I just ask? I know you guys. I'm sorry because I got here late and shit, obviously. But I know some of you guys were saying who you are. But how many people are doing video? Is everyone doing video here? Obviously, everyone. Is anyone doing photos? Everyone edits. So you guys are all kind of doing everything, huh? Swag. Me too. What's your biggest, if anyone can answer this, but what's your biggest challenge right now in the industry as far as like are you guys all freelance creators? Does anyone work for a company? Are you guys almost all freelance? Freelance? What's up? Yeah, let's get the mic.
Clients.
Say it again?
The biggest challenge right now is getting clients. Like for me, I'm a CEO, I have my own company, and just trying to get clients. You know, like I'm a creative, I'm a shooter, I'm a DP, but now that I started my own company, the biggest challenge was just going out there and getting clients. You know what I mean? And
totally.
Yeah, that's been the biggest challenge.
What kind of company?
Video production company.
Video production.
Yeah.
When I was trying to figure out how to move to LA, I created like I knew I needed a budget. Like that became so apparent to us. I made music and shit too. It was all about a budget. Like you can't get in a fucking nice studio unless you have some money. Like that's the reality of shit. You move out here and you for sure learn about budgets. Am I right? And when I was trying to figure out how to get out here, I knew I needed to do it. And, you know, me just wanting to create cool shit, no one was paying for that yet. So I had to figure out my workaround. My workaround happened to be doing real estate videos, right? And then I also worked a bunch of random ass jobs like valet and shit too. But when I was doing my real estate stuff, I got a hold of a random job working as a Google certified photographer, doing virtual tours for Google Maps. Most random shit that ever happened. And honestly, at the time, I wasn't even telling people I was a photographer. I didn't believe I was a photographer. I thought I just got this DSLR to shoot video, and I love slow-mo. And but I started using that, and I started, you know, I signed up for it, and I was like, oh shit, this is gonna make me a ton of money. I'm gonna take the risk. I'm gonna start my own company just like you did, and that's gonna make me my money. And when I launched it, I was like, post one shit on Facebook, yo, this is my business, blah, 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 blah. No one bought it. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I thought this shit would sell itself. It's Google. Like, this should sell itself. And it didn't, and I learned that I had to start figuring out how to sell myself. And that shit was incredibly hard because we'd be making music in the main venue on my hometown, and then I'd go to the boutique the next door after a sold out show of the night, and go to this fucking child clothes place and try to sell them on a virtual tour, which didn't make sense. But I knew to move to LA, I needed a budget. I needed to like obtain the money, so I had to figure out how to sell myself, and that's one of the hardest fucking things to do is sell yourself and package yourself. But to me, in my opinion, it's all about the way you move and how you can adapt to who you're around. For me, every single thing that I've ever done, I've found out who I'm around and how I can enhance or make their situation better. So for all those businesses in Iowa, I was figuring out how I can make their shit better. Yo, trust me, this thing is going to get you views. It's going to do this and that. Everyone's going to be able to see into your story about however I sold it. And then they start to realize and be like, oh, cool. And they pull out a checkbook. And then they pull out a checkbook. No one wants you to just come in and be like, hey, I'm great at creating. PayPal me, Venmo, whatever you want, I'll do your video tomorrow. They're like, why should I pay you? Like, there's so many people here. You really have to connect with these people, and that's one of the hardest things is to connect. But yeah, like I said, just figure out how you can, if you find an opportunity, how can you elevate that opportunity is my best advice. Yes. Microphone? Yes, send it.
So I'll repeat it again. My name is Milton Lawrence, international lifestyle photographer, cinematographer now. And so one of the issues that I've always dealt with in my market, in the Baltimore market, was finding creators that were consistent. And so as freelancers, people are doing whatever they have to do to try to eat, and that type of thing. And so I've found some creative ways to be able I make a lot of business films. That's where my bread and butter is. I have 3 daughters, and so I can't go gaps of time without eating.
Right.
If that makes some sense.
It does.
Yeah.
So you're saying you need your problem has been finding creatives?
Finding creatives, consistent creatives for various projects.
I see like 60 of them right in front of you.
Yeah, no doubt.
No, I think
so. That was the whole purpose. I want to connect everybody that's here, and if you're willing to travel, that too.
I feel like, especially with finding creatives, that it could stay consistent as far as like building good relations. The hardest part is when you give the insides of your business and then someone walks away from you, right? And that's something we all fear. And I feel like if you can find and build a proper relationship with one person, then you build a second relationship with the next person. You want to find people that see your vision. You know what I mean? A lot of times it's hard because you're shooting against someone that's like, I just want to work with the biggest artists in the world. Some people are like, I just want to work. And those are the people you're looking for, right? So I think once you find them, the biggest advice I could ever give is make sure that you take care of your people. You know what I mean? Find the best way to take care of the people that are working their ass off for you. Because I've been there and got treated, shitty, and I ain't fucking with them no more. And that's their L, because I did some dope shit after I left. You know what I mean? Yeah. But if they would have taken care of, different companies that come out or businesses or brands that you work with that kind of fuck you on a project, you want to, you don't like when people don't care about you or whatever and like give you what you truly deserve or at least credit you or whatever. So you want to go out of your way to take care of those people. And I think you're going to find some creators that are going to fuck with you and they'll stick around with you forever. Sure. Someone just have my back. Is Matt here yet? Say what? Oh, yeah. How can they find you on the internet?
My brand is under my name, Milton Lawrence Jr.
Say it one more time on the mic.
Milton Lawrence Jr. Milton Lawrence Jr.
One more time.
Milton Lawrence Jr.
Was someone trying to get my attention for something? Keep going. Carry on. My phone's about to fall. So I feel like this day, like for all of you guys investing into being here, clearly you want to make it in this industry, right? Yes. Someone like Matt, what inspires me through Matt, just talking to him here, I remember meeting Matt, I was at Riveting working on Chris's doc, and it was probably like the first 3 months I was there, and he like came in for something, I don't remember why he was there, but he knew Andrew, the dude I was working under, but I was nobody, so I just kept my mouth shut. But I remember him walking in and thinking like, fuck, he shot the Goblins video with Tyler, the Creator. And I remember seeing that video and being so blown away by that, and then to think like, I sat in my room watching this shit in Iowa like over and over and over again, like, fuck, how did they do the contacts for his eyes? Like, I didn't even know that was a thing at the time, and the way they shot it was all glitchy and shit, and I would sit there and study it, and then to finally meet him, it's like super full circle. I feel like it's fucking tight that he's taking the time to come in here and share it literally, like setting up all this stuff and trying to find ways to provide value to others. That's both of our mission, which is cool as fuck, and I feel like you guys are gonna gain a lot of insight. What are you guys looking forward to learning today, like if I can ask? Thanks, man.
My question is, when did it turn over for you? You know, when did you start believing in your work? Was it before, when you were in that room working on the Chris
Right.
Brown doc, or was it shortly thereafter?
I always believed in my shit. I always knew, we all know, we're good as fuck. You know what I mean? It's just about getting people to know that you're good as fuck. That's the hardest part. So Matt didn't know I was tight. Honestly, I don't know when me and Matt reconnected through Olufemi Tutorials. Does anyone follow Olufemi Tutorials on YouTube? He would always do shit with Matt, and that recircled Matt into my life. I'm like, oh, these are cool. They do their little video breakdowns and stuff. You start paying attention again. And then finally we reconnected, but like Matt didn't know what I did. He didn't know at all. So I wasn't just gonna blurt it out like, hey, I could do this and this and this. Like, it wouldn't even make sense. But over time, and you really have to allow for time, you know, in your career, like we all grow. I was probably trash when I got here, but I was tight when I got there, to me. And then 5 years before that, I was even worse, you know? So even in the contest I was talking about, we, you know, 80% of them were not good. You know what I mean? But it's people that are getting started. And if you go watch, if I pulled up any of the contests that I entered when I was a fucking filmmaker and I was a legend in my hometown, garbage. But now I'm working with some of the coolest people in the world, and that shit doesn't make sense to me, but it's because I just didn't stop, and it didn't happen in 3 years. It didn't happen in 2 years. I didn't just buy a camera and sign up for an LLC, and now I'm fucking the guy. It takes a lot of time and progression to get into the shit. We can keep, it's Q&A. I don't know if this helps people for me to explain this stuff. I have not made it, in my opinion. I have not done, you know, my bar's up here, so I'm still on my climb to that, as we all are. And I think when I get there, the bar will be even higher at that point, because you never stop changing your goals. You're always going to adjust for it, but like, it's all obtainable. That's the thing, is that I've learned that it's fucking obtainable. It's ridiculous, but you just have to move smooth and be cautious of how you do it. You know. Questions? Yeah. This is hilarious. It's just going back between you two. We need 3 mics.
How do you feel? What's your best advice to, because you mentioned opportunity is the sorry. 1 2 1 2. Opportunity is the main.
I can hear you.
Opportunity is the main thing, right? So I mean, you can know a whole bunch of people, and you can like, again, meeting you, obviously, knowing JR and all these other people that I know in the industry. If you don't have that opportunity, then it's still not elevating you to where you want to go. So what's your best advice on creating those opportunities in a situation to maximize that situation?
Right. So like this right here, what we're doing right now. Like, some people might look at it like, oh shit, I got to pay to get into the thing. Like, oh, man, I paid so much money for college and met like 3 people that were dope to me. And those people still I can talk to, and we could work on projects. One of them produces big-ass commercials in Chicago. Like, if I ever want to get into that world with him, I can hit him up. So that's great. But when I look at stuff like this, like, we're all in this room. Like, JR. JR has got Moonmen on his shelf. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't know how you got there, but I feel like you probably proved to him that you deserve to be around him, or not deserve to be around him. That sounds fucking ridiculous. But, like, you're capable of doing the workload that he would require. And I think for us here, it's like, you have to be able to practice and spend time practicing. And I think when you don't have opportunity, AKA you're not around in LA and you can't go to an event like this, or you can't pull up on a music video set somehow, or be a PA and open your mouth, you have to be training, right? Like, I lived in Iowa, and I made the illest videos about my fucking homie's steakhouse, okay? No one saw that shit, but that shit was crazy. I had the GoPro strapped to the fucking spatula, flipping that shit, slow-mo, 120, it was nuts. No one's gonna see that, but I learned how to do that. So when I come to set, and the next thing you know, we have to do a music video, we need to do a cool way to strap a gun, like a camera from a gun or some shit. I'm like, yo, I did this on a spatula once. You know what I mean? Like, that's how you learn. You have to really practice. And I hate to say it, but like, a lot of people sit behind the computer and they watch a million of the tutorials on YouTube and they do all that shit, but they're not going out and getting stories. Like, I've done so much shit before I got to LA. Like, I learned a lot about my life. And when you come in the creative side, as far as like directing, or you're trying to write treatments and shit like that, you really have to be able to tell stories. So a long about round way. I'm just talking about the prep for getting into that. But I also think we are here in LA. Who all lives here? Does anyone not live here? That's an easier question. Fuck, where are you guys from? Phoenix? Where? Yeah? New York? Oh, shit. Colombia? For real? Shit. Damn. Frisco? All right, so cool. We're all not, all right, so be here. You're here right now. That's great. You're going to connect with people. Who knows when Matt got to go to Colombia next and needs a creator, But, like, I think that the most important thing you can do for me, I needed to move to LA. I needed to be in the shit. I needed to find a way to be involved, to get in the community, exert myself in whatever I could. You know what I mean? Like, and drones were my thing. When I started learning how to fly drones in Iowa, everyone was making fun of my ass, yo. We were building these drones. They had a camera on it. I saw that shit could tilt the camera. I could do that with a remote. I was blown away. This is way before it can be in your backpacks right now. And I started getting obsessed, and I would take all these pictures of my hometown, and people were like, I spent like $1,500 on a drone when I didn't have it, and my girl was like, why are you doing this? Why the fuck are you doing this? I'm like, trust me, this shit's gonna be the wave. This is gonna be it. Like, I could shoot a video in the air. Like, what the fuck? This is crazy. When I got to LA, the first thing I did was I pulled out my drone. I found a rapper. I was like, yo, it'd be cool if we were on this rooftop. I could do like a drone selfie of you. He's like, what the fuck is that? And I just was like, just stand here real quick. And I did it. And we're on 19 floors up in the air, and I'm flying even farther than that, getting the craziest shot. And he was like, right away, just co-signed me with him. Now he's one of my best friends. And that was my introduction to him. Same with like Chris Brown. Yo, I know you guys didn't plan on having a drone in this video, but I could go get a shot of this building that we're in. It could be cool for like an exterior shot. They're like, oh yeah, all right, go do whatever. And I get like 10 banger shots. They end up using every single one of them. And now you're taking like this tiny toy and mixing it with red footage, which the directors or the DPs didn't think would work. And they were like, oh fuck, we love it. So it's about, your tools, the way you use your tools and how you kind of play your cards. But if you're in it, you just have to figure out how to be a part of it. I don't know if any of this makes sense. Sorry. What's up?
So just like Milton, finding creative is hard for my area, but what's even hard is actually the price.
Yeah,
Right?
prices suck.
Yeah, pricing for me is completely difficult when you come for a quote, right? And you give them this, you talk to your VFX guy, you talk to your editing guy, right? And they give you a different quote, but then after that, you get into the editing process. It takes much longer than expected. And a lot of times you eat the cost, but if you're editing yourself, of course, you're like, fuck it, you'll just edit more hours, right? You won't even add the cost. But when you're dealing with all these different freelancers, how do you, over the quote, whatever the expected time, how do you deal with the pricings with each and every single freelancer that you work with? And then telling the customer, hey, it has to cost more.
Exactly. I think that's one of the hardest things everyone, like, quoting someone is like the hardest shit, because you're always like, I'll do it for sure for this price, but then the question is like, how much are they trying to spend? You always want to, like my biggest trick since forever was always just acting like I can't do the job, but I have someone that can do the job, and I'm like, oh, so like, what are you trying to spend? And then they tell you, you're like, I'll do it for that shit. Actually, I'm available now, and I'd pull it that way. But when you start doing bigger budgets and you need to kind of properly plan for, we need to have VFX, it's going to take this much VFXing, or we need to get 2 DPs for this shit, or second AC and all this shit. Like, you want to add up all this stuff. You kind of have like an idea of like what the going rate is, at least here. We kind of have like numbers that we understand our people will probably work for this, respectively. And my favorite part is being able to obtain budgets where you might not need such a massive crew, so you could spend a little bit more on your people, and that's the best. Sometimes you get shitty budgets. You want to do the job anyway. Everyone takes the L on making a good chunk of change that way, but it just depends. I honestly think it's client to client. Every job is going to be different. Every client's going to have a different budget. You might shoot the illest video for this artist and then turn around and shoot the corniest video for this brand, but that brand's going to pay you 10 times the amount because they don't fucking know. And they think it was cool that you shot the video for that artist. You know what I mean? So you just have to kind of play them back and forth. This one might be a lower rate, but the next one might be better. And it's up to your creators too that you're working with, like, to decide if it's, if they want to invest the time. Like, yeah, it sucks. I only made $400 today, but you did it. And then the next time you turn around, you might know, that guy would kill this job again. I'm going to call him up. Yo, I have 10 grand for you to do some random shit. And they'll dive into it. And that's, I think, like the game we play here, Yo.
One thing I've learned dealing with customers and closing deals, if I get lowballed, I usually try to give a payment plan. So I'll just double their quote or their offer. maybe double or triple it and let them pay it over time.
Right.
And that's kind of how I increase my sales and kind of close the deal, because then it doesn't sound like I'm too much for them. You know, they kind of give me their bare minimum, but I'll work with them over time. And if they're willing to get that product, then they're gonna, pay over time.
Totally. And a lot of clients, like, you might find a client that really needs some like consistent work monthly. So you could also throw out retainer shit and just figure out how you're gonna divide up your retainer for your people. And a lot of this shit, the other problem is that we all look at, we work by ourselves, we're freelance, someone throws 10 grand at you and wants a video, and then you're like, I need to do everything so I get the 10 grand. Yeah. And that shit will shoot you in the foot. Like, we all do it. The hardest part is being able to delegate. And I think that that's one lesson I've learned too, is knowing when to, kind of shell out money to someone else to free up your time, honestly. Like, if you're getting hired to do something and I'm just saying 10 grand as a number, someone's giving you 10K to do some shit, they like you and your work is worth 10K at that point. So why spend all the time working on the assistant editing portion of it where you're setting up your timeline, you're doing all this shit, it took you fucking 8 hours for some reason because Premiere wouldn't fucking work that day, and the next thing you know, the job's taken 2 weeks. But if you look at it from a standpoint of, well, if I got someone else to do that, I could have spent that 8 hours trying to get another client to pay me 10 grand, and then we could hire everyone again, all these people get paid, you end up making more money in the long run with that, which you just have to kind of think of it that way.